Noisy Pixel.
In 2012, Telltale started a narrative-driven adventure series based in the universe of the popular comic book franchise, The Walking Dead. When the video game series launched, it would be the spark that the adventure genre needed to become popular with gamers. Telltale's The Walking Dead wound up becoming their most popular IP, but sadly, that wouldn't be enough to keep it and the company alive long enough to finish the last game in the series. Thankfully, Skybound Games swooped in to make sure that the series could meet its conclusion, not only for fans, but for the developers who spend years of their lives telling these character stories. This is Noisy Pixel's review of The Walking Dead, the final season. Just a quick note, rather than reviewing each episode one by one, we'll be reviewing the final adventure as a whole. However, we'll be staying away from major story spoilers and instead focus on character relationships in general. The Walking Dead the final season opens with Clementine driving AJ, who is bored and hungry. Countless times throughout the adventure, Clementine will be faced with teaching AJ right from wrong, but also how to survive in the zombified world. These teachings will come up time and time again during conversations and confrontations where AJ will reflect on something Clementine showed him. This is to reflect how the player thinks AJ should behave in this new world. It was tough sometimes when teaching AJ new things because I had to keep in mind that the world isn't a happy place. In order to survive, you need to play a little dirty. However, some players might think differently, and that's totally okay because the game supports that way of raising the child. The story nails the hardships that come with bringing up a child in an unsafe world, a world full of zombies more specifically. New rules are made up on a whim and every action deserves its own consequence. The story faces many of these situations even though a few of them are a little out of your hand. Still, the way that certain events unfold in some way do affect the final outcome. In terms of environment, The Walking Dead the final season sticks pretty close to only a few different areas. I would say that episode 2 is by far the weakest of the 4 episodes given that it mainly takes place at the same location, and while it does have an epic few moments of gameplay, as they all do, I think the pacing of the episode just felt off. With that said, each episode introduces more about the supporting cast as well as slowly introduces new characters. With a large number of characters to interact with, Clem is faced with spending time with each of them. Interestingly, while the game does offer some character bonding moments, there are times when it just doesn't matter given the outcome of the story as a whole. Sadly, some characters are just so unlikable that I didn't want to do anything with them, but I needed to in order to get a certain outcome. While there is combat in the game, it's probably the weakest part of the game as a whole, but that's only because the story and narrative set the bar so high. Zombie encounters are basically just a matter of stunning and killing zombies, and while it's fun, it can get a little repetitive. Other aspects of combat can only work against the player, mainly aiming since it changes at certain times. While dying isn't the worst thing ever because of the checkpoint system, it does get a little annoying when you have to face the same horde over and over again. As a last hurrah, The Walking Dead the final season is the best graphically and emotionally impactful in the entire series. What also helps is that character and audio design are consistently great throughout the entire final season. While the game has a few low moments of storytelling, those are easily looked past when you're sweating bullets staring in the face of danger. The season's twists and emotional moments hit home for me in ways I never expected. I personally want to thank the developers of Telltale's The Walking Dead for putting so much effort into delivering an ending to a series that I could easily say is one of the best narrative adventure games ever. Noisy Pixel is giving The Walking Dead the final season a 9 out of 10. Thank you for joining us in this undead adventure. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is ran by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.